Max was once a renowned athlete, known for his exceptional running skills and ability to outrun even the fastest of competitors. He had a reputation for being fearless and unstoppable on the track, and had won countless races and accolades throughout his career. However, one fateful day, Max was faced with a challenge that would change his life forever. He was participating in a particularly challenging race and was up against a group of coureurs who were known for their exceptional speed and skill. Despite Max's confidence and determination, he was unable to keep up with the coureurs and found himself trailing far behind them. The experience was a humbling one for Max, who had never before been beaten in a race. He felt embarrassed and ashamed of his performance and found himself struggling to come to terms with his defeat. He had always considered himself to be the best runner in the land, and now that image had been shattered. Max felt like he had lost everything that had once made him great, and he didn't know how to move forward. Despite his initial discouragement, Max refused to give up. He was determined to reclaim his title as the fastest runner in the land, and so he began training harder than ever before. He spent countless hours running, pushing himself to his limits, and challenging himself to improve with every race. He sought out advice from the coureurs who had bested him, and worked tirelessly to incorporate their techniques and strategies into his own training regimen. Through sheer perseverance and hard work, Max was eventually able to reclaim his title as the fastest runner in the land. He ran faster, stronger, and with more confidence than ever before. He proved to himself and to the world that he was not just a great runner, but a true champion. The experience of being humiliated by the coureurs had made Max a better, more resilient athlete, and had given him the determination and drive to succeed. Max's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of never giving up in the face of defeat. Despite the obstacles he faced, Max refused to let his defeat define him. Instead, he used it as a catalyst for growth and improvement, and emerged from the experience a better athlete and a better person. Whether on the track or in life, Max's story is a reminder that even in the face of adversity, we have the strength and resilience to bounce back and come out on top. Max Verstappen has done very little to repair his already tarnished reputation, as he's been involved in brawls with both opponents and teammates. His brawl with one of his teammates got so bad that the teammate was even forced to leave Red Bull, having replaced Daniel Kvyat at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. Verstappen became Australian driver Daniel Ricciardo, teammate for Red Bull Racing, at the age of 18. However, even though Verstappen was already a proven remarkable young talent, and Ricciardo was one of the best drivers on the grid, the experience wasn't altogether pleasant for Ricciardo, who had to deal with a Dutch driver's antics in 2017. A year after becoming Ricciardo teammates, Verstappen, who had lost ground in Turn 2 and was almost passed by Ricciardo, speared into the Australian driver in Turn 3, causing Ricciardo's radiator to burst and forcing him to retire. Verstappen earned a 10-second penalty for the collision. But it wasn't enough to appease Ricciardo, who was furious at what Verstappen had done. The Australian driver firmly indicated that Verstappen's move was an amateur error, and that the Dutch driver despises it when its teammates get ahead of him. That was amateur, to say the least. I don't think he likes when a teammate gets in front of him. He had the whole race to try and repair a mistake, but it wasn't a pass. It wasn't even an attempt. It was just a very poor mistake, said Ricciardo. Even Red Bull team principal Christian Horner was irritated by the incident, expressing clearly that it was frustrating. He's on the limit, and he made a mistake today. We lost Daniel, and the same move gave Max a penalty and cost the team points. So it was very frustrating, said Horner. Verstappen, however, apologized for the incident. It's never my intention to hit anyone, especially your teammate, and especially with the relationship I have with Daniel. It's very good, and we can always have a laugh, said Verstappen. Despite both sides' efforts to put the damage behind them, the relationship took an ugly turn the following year during the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, when Ricciardo recklessly collided into the back of Verstappen after losing his position to the Dutch driver. Speaking about the incident, Ricciardo stated that he was annoyed by the staff and cutting into him, which was worse than that when he realized that the team was not going to assist him. We touched wheels a few times where it was always Max coming into me, as opposed to me going into Max. Part of me was waiting for the team to say cut the shit, but never really got that. So then I was furious as well. I'm like, guys, I put all the hard work in. I've passed him and now he's back in front of me. Surely you're going to let me go this time? To be honest, at the time of impact, I was just like, who cares? They, the team, deserve this. That was my honest feeling. I wasn't feeling sad or angry that I just lost points. I think everyone saw it, meaning the crash coming. Verstappen was also partly to blame for the high-speed collision, given his aggressive defending asserted that Ricciardo's assault on him from behind was harmful to the team, and was bad enough that he had nothing to say to his Australian teammates at the moment. I don't want to talk about it, is bad for the team, and I think that's bad enough for staff and said. However, a year after the incident, Ricciardo explained that the Baku incident eventually prompted him to leave the Milton Keynes-based team since Verstappen, and it was just ready to end his career. Regardless, the Australian driver insisted that now that they're no longer direct competitors, their mutual respect has grown, and they are better friends than they were before. But if this happened, is capable of getting his teammates agitated and frustrated enough to leave Red Bull Racing. Imagine what he's capable of doing to other drivers on the grid who are not. We are describing a driver who got into a fight with a rookie racer in the paddock. The rookie driver was none other than Esteban Ocon, and throughout the physical altercation, the Dutch driver was the only aggressor. Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon have always been fierce rivals. Since the karting days, Max and I were always quite close on track, and sometimes it came to close. In 2011, we were fighting for the 2011 World Series Championship, the WSK Euro Series, key F3 class, and he won in the end. I remember a race in Italy I came out on top, but me and him were a long way ahead of the rest. It was a rivalry that started then, and it soon became even bigger, Ocon said. And as he explained, the rivalry progressed to F3 and ultimately Formula One. However, the snapper received a Formula One contract before Ocon, on to the dismay of the French driver, who considered that he was a superior driver in F3. When I saw the news, it was difficult to swallow. He was third in the championship. I was winning, and I didn't have a seat in any category at that time, said I'll come regardless Esteban, or come join Formula One a year and a half later. And the rivalry quickly became so heated. The Verstappen got aggressive with Archon Verstappen, who was leading at the Sao Paulo track, attempted to pass Ocon, who was also aiming to move ahead of him despite being a lap behind. Unfortunately, both cars collided, causing the snapping to spin and subsequently lose the race to Lewis Hamilton. Verstappen was hurt on the radio, yelling Ocon, calling him an idiot who had taken a stupid risk. I hope I can't find him now in the paddock, because that guy has an effing problem, Verstappen said on the radio. True to his threat, things got violent in the paddock after the race, with TV footage showing an enraged Verstappen forcing an altercation with Ocon after he shoved and punched Ocon forcibly on the chest numerous times. Speaking about the altercation or consent, what I'm really surprised of is the behavior of Max, the FIA having to stop him from being violent, pushing me, and wanting to punch me. That's not professional. Nonetheless, ACO received the 10-second stop and go penalty, while the snapper was sentenced to 2 days of community service. Notwithstanding, Verstappen blamed this behavior on high emotions, claiming that he had lost the race through no fault of its own, and subsequently reconciled with Ocon after meeting the steward. What can I do about it? I lost the victory, but hopefully in 15 years' time, we can laugh about it, Verstappen said. But while his brawl with Esteban Ocon and even his former teammate Daniel Ricciardo may have been motivated by competitiveness, the Dutch driver's dispute with another teammate of his might have been motivated by selfishness or a vendetta. The disrespect with Sergio Perez was so inappropriate and unnecessary. The checkout fame for his modest demeanor bloatedly reminded Verstappen and that he owed him 2 championships. The Minister of Defense, as he's popularly known, joined Red Bull's partner Max Verstappen for the 2021 F1 season, and he's widely credited with assisting Verstappen and clinching the F1 titles at the penultimate race in Abu Dhabi, as his defense kept Lewis Hamilton at bay. Also during the 2022 seasons, he obeyed the team's requests twice to the Spanish Grand Prix, allowing Verstappen to overtake him. However, as much as their friendship and teamwork grew, the 2022 Monaco Grand Prix appeared to put their relationship to the test. During the qualifying session, Perez crashed, forcing the race to be stopped and the snap and unable to improve on his fastest time, which infuriated the Dutch driver, as he later accused his teammate of purposefully crashing his car. It is irritating and a pity, of course. That one who put it in the wall was my teammates, the staff, and said nonetheless. Perez had no idea that his series of selfishness would be rewarded by the staff and selfishness 7 months later. Other Brazilian Grand Prix Verstappen had already been named the world champion, and as such, he was racing for nothing but honor, as opposed to check out, who was racing to gain a comfortable lead over Ferrari shoulder Leclerc in the driver's standings. During the race, dropped down the grid after a safety car restart because he was struggling on medium tires and the snap, and quickly overtook him. However, after failing to overtake Fernando Alonso, Verstappen was ordered by the team to allow Perez back through, which he flatly refused, and even gave some pretty serious orders to his race engineer, saying, "I told you already last summer. You guys don't ask that again to me. Are we clear about that?" I gave my reasons, and I stand by it, but Verstappen said Verstappen's refusal to let Perez pass ultimately cost the Mexican driver 2 points, and he inevitably lost the second-place position to Leclerc at the end of the last race of the season. Perez was confused at what just happened, expressed that he was disappointed and startled by the Dutch driver's decision not to allow them to pass after everything is done for him. It shows who he really is. Very surprised. I don't know what happened, especially for everything I've done for him. I think if he has 2 championships, it's thanks to me, Perez said. In conclusion, Max's story of being humiliated by the Coureurs and bouncing back is an inspiration to us all. It shows us that even the greatest athletes face challenges and setbacks, but with determination and hard work, we can overcome them and emerge stronger than ever before. Max's journey serves as a reminder that success is not defined by one single moment, but by our ability to bounce back and keep pushing forward. So whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting out, remember Max's story and let it inspire you to never give up on your dreams and to always strive to be the best version of yourself.